Welcome back to Mitford Pottery. Got a little possible project on the go, so we're going to start with a bit of throwing, and we have 400 and 450, slightly smaller than my normal cups, and the plan is 400 grams. We're going to do a roundish, like a cup, like a nice bellied mug. We're going to do a 400 gram, a bit like a bucket, sort of quite straight sided, and then we're going to do a larger bucket with a 450. That's the plan. So I've got to put my clay over here and get that on the wheel. So first of all, we're going to go for the round one. Now we've got our normal tools here, stick and wire, and we have what are these again? These mud tools. I'm going to be using mud tool green ribs. We'll see how that goes for the curves and the straight lines. And we've also got a couple of like the default. We got like a little wooden one and a one with a straight and a curve. Just the normal wooden throwing ribs. See which one's the best. So I'm going to get the camera on the wheel and we'll make a start. And we'll zoom in a wee bit, like so. There we are. Hopefully we can see everything and we're not too dark. I think we should be okay for light. I'm going to lean over, but we should be okay. So 400 grams roundish mug. So as always, we're going to give it a little cone. We've kneaded it on the bench. My usual 20 times. Once we've weighed the clay out, and we're going to do our first cone just to see what the clay feels like. Not too bad, but I'm going to do a second one. Just to make sure it's pretty well mixed. So squash it down, get it centered. So we got our centered ball of clay. So we're going to break in and out. Now, because it's going round, I don't want to flatten the base too much, and we want to leave it quite narrow, so hopefully the top will be about the same width as the base. That's the plan anyway. So I'm just going to open that just a touch more. And seeing that we're testing everything, I'll grab a pin tool and we'll measure the thickness of the base. Might as well do it properly. So, in there. So it's a bit thinner than normal, that I would go. That's about 5 to sort of 5, 6, 7 mil. That'll do us as long as we don't go any deeper into the base. Because we want as much clay in this as we can, because there's a smaller amount of clay. Right, bit of water on. So even though we're going round, we're going to do a straight cylinder first. So I'm just going to collar that in a little bit, and then we're going to start to lift. So I'm going to go quite straight on this. That's it. Now we've got to make sure we leave enough clear in the thickness of the walls to curve it out. So I usually go off my hand as a gauge for the height of the cup. So I'm aiming for my cylinder to be a little bit taller than my hand, because when we curve it out, it'll lose a little bit of its height. So a little bit more yet. So away we go again. So getting right at the base. Drag that clear up. Nice and steady all the way at the top. So go off hand, so we're just about there, maybe one more just to get that last little bit of height. Now we want to stabilise the top. Now I'm looking at the dimensions. I'm going to grab a sponge on a stick as well. Of course we're going to be as precise as we can with this. So I want to see what the base is looking like. Get rid of the water out of there, like so. Right, so I think the top's about where we want to be with the width. Next go, we're going to go quite slow, and this time, bit of water on the inside and the outside. This time we're going to, so this will be our third lift. So when we lift, we're going to belly it out a little bit, and then back in, just to start our curve of our pot. Right, so get right in with my thumb tip on the base, nip the clear, and then we're going to lift it outwards to about halfway, and then we're going to change direction, and we're going to go back towards the middle. So it starts to just curve it a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on our height. So plenty of height. So now we're going to properly work on the curve. So I think I'm going to try that one first. So it's got a little curved profile on it. Give it a clean. Now let's have a look what it's like there. So we'll probably move out and back in with this because I want it more curved than this profile. So it'll give us a good start though. So if I go to the base and I'm pushing the clear onto the rib. So that's about halfway. All the way at the top edge. It's not too bad. Need to go rounder now, so I'm going to ditch that. So that's going to restrict our shape, I think. So we're just going to go off. We're going to eyeball it really. So I want to curve it to about halfway. Like so. Well, that's a nice shape. Bit of water on there. Bit of water on the outside as well. So I'm feeling it's a little thick here. So I'm just going to lift it a little bit with my fingertips just to even the clay out. And go down on our shape. Height wise, just a little bit taller than my hand. We'll get rid of the water at the bottom, see what we'll look like. It's a decent round mug. Shall we push it a bit more, see if we can get it a bit rounder? Then to the middle, and then we're going to start to change direction, go back in. Like so, just starting to dry out a little bit. Right, we're going to do that edge. Make sure we are all nice and round. So, and I think I'm pretty happy with that shape. That's okay. Right, we'll start to dry this one off. Water out the inside, get our sponge. Get most of the water off with our sponge. Now, do we go for a fancy foot on this one? I think we do. So, I'll get the foot trimming tool in a minute. What we are going to do first, we're just going to use our stick, dry the outside. So we're going to start near the base, curve our stick round, matching the profile of our cup, so you get all that slip off the outside. Give it one more go. So the drier it is, the easier it is to take off the wheel. That's it. Make sure we haven't lost our shape, which we're alright. Give it one last chamois just to make sure it is round. Right, foot trimming tool, 1 second. Grab the foot trimming tool. So these are very good. I've probably mentioned them before. From Old Forge Creations. Stainless steel. Very sharp. Give you a small profile and a large profile. I do have wooden versions of these from other manufacturers, but I've found, I mean, it depends what you're making. They do a good job, but they're not as crisp. They don't cut it as severe as this. It makes a bit of a scrapey noise, so I'll apologise now. So we're gonna just enough to make that profile. That's it, done. Put that up there out the way. That's not bad. It's not bad. Right, I'm going to wire that off. Stop our wheel. And I need a board. Make sure my hands are nice and dry. Oh, cup our hands round. A little twist and a lift. So there's our round shape with 400 grams. Now, what I do want to do, I need a ruler. I need a ruler. Where's a ruler? We'll get the metal one, eh? professional. Get the metal ruler. So I'm going to measure the height of that one because we want a matching bucket shape. So we are just 9.34 centimetres in height. That's what we're aiming for with our next one, but it'll be a different shape. Right, another 400 on there. So again, I'm going to throw a cylinder so it's just taller than my hand. That's my sort of starting gauge. So we'll get this centred. Again, do a couple of cones. Just prep all the clay nice. Squash that down, get that nice and centred, like so. Right, so hole in the middle. And open it out. So again, not too wide, don't want to go too crazy, you want it sort of roughly to match that. And again, we will stop it and check. Yeah, that's about the same, sort of 5mm-ish, something like that. So, looks about right for that. I'm just eyeballing the base like, so it's about right for the base. Now, because it's a straight shape, I'm going to use my nails to square that edge off on the inside. Run our finger across there just to compact all the clay. Then we're going to collar it in just to tilt that over, and then we'll start our throw. So right in at the base with my thumb tip, drag that up, trying to keep that sort of volcano shape. That's our first, that's one lift. Compact that edge. We need to go a bit taller. So now we can go a touch slower. And we'll go second lift. So gonna push our thumb tip in, get that clear above our thumb and drag it up. Again, we don't want to go too thin, especially on the top, because that's going to stretch out. Not so bothered about the bottom, so that's not going to, or the middle, it's not going to curve much really. So what we've got, we'll go a little bit taller. I'll get as much of that clear as I can. This is our third lift, so I'm going to start to go out just a touch. And then we can measure, get a rough idea. So we're just on 10 centimetres, so we can lose a little bit of height. Now we've got to gauge that, so I think I'm going to put a foot on there, so that's going to get rounded off. So from that point there, that's when I'm going to start to lean the shape out. We'll get rid of the water so we can see what's going on. Inside edge is quite square, that's good. Right, pick a rib, any rib. So we'll pick this one first. Actually no, I'm going to go for the wooden rib first because it's not as severe. Slow us right down. So what we want to do is we want to go out to about there, I would say. Give it a nice sort of bucket shape. So I'm going to press that corner into the base like that. I'm not going to move the rib. I'm going to push the clear to the rib. It'll spring back in a little bit. So we've got that. We'll have a height check. So we're just about there. We'll probably go a little bit wider just to lose that last little bit of height. The thing is, when you're stretching the clear, it sort of springs back in a bit as well. So all right at the base. We're going to push that excuse me. Right, let's have a look at height. Excuse me. Just under 9.5. Oh dear. So we're going to round the top off. I'm going to get rid of the water on the inside. Now, inside profile looks good. We're going to get our foot trimming tool. I'm going to see if we can get a profile on the bottom of here. Like so. That's it. So we got our round profile there. Need a sharper edge than that. So, because we've done that, we've got like a little bit of a line there. Now, I know for experience, them tools have got a nice sharp corner. So I'm just going to support it on the inside, and I'm just going to take a little bit of clay off there, and then use that to scrape our surface on the rest of the wheel. Sorry for the silence, concentrating. So that bit there, digging that edge in there, it just made that less pronounced. We want a little line there so you can see the change in direction, but we don't want to get big overhang of clear, which would have to faff on trimming and stuff like that. Right, so there's our bucket shape. So we're going to go right up to there with our sponge, get rid of all the water, scrape that excess off our wooden stick. Surface is dry. What's that edge like? I need to run that chamois on that edge again, just to get rid of that sharp. So there's our bucket shape. Wire that off. So, stop our wheel. I'm going to lift it off and I'll bring the board back over. So we'll wrap our hands round, give it a lift and a twist. Put that next to that. So I'll bring these over. So there's our two shapes so far. Tip it over out and falling off the board. So we've got a round and a bucket shape. And the next one, we're going to go bucket shape again. But this is 450 grams of clay. So we've got a bit more clay to play with. Or should I do a different shape? No, just a taller bucket shape, I think. Like a Starbucks / Costa sort of shape. Tall, flared cylinder. How we're doing for time? 26 minutes. A bit of a long video, this one, but we didn't rush it too much. So this one, like I say, we're going to try and emulate our last shape, but it's going to be a little bit taller. We don't want to go wider, we want to go taller. So 2 cones again, because this clay felt a little bit uneven. That's it, so centre that down. Make sure that's nice and centred. That's it. Hole in the middle. Up there. Open that out. Just eyeballing the width of the base. Compact it a little bit. And we're going to stop it and measure it. Yeah, that's on about the same as the others. Bit of water on. Again, I'm going to use my thumb just to square that bottom edge up a little bit. Like so. I'm going to collar it in. So hands on the side. Push the top edge over just to curve it in a bit. Check your speed. First lift, so a little volcano to start with. So push my thumb tip in there, nip the clay, drag that up to that top edge, keeping that little volcano shape. Compact the top edge, keep it all nice and stable as you go. Alright, plenty of water on, and then we'll go again. So this time we're going for a little bit more height. So use my hand as a judge, or a guide. So we're getting a bit higher now, so because I've got more clay, and push the third lift to get even more height, hopefully. Bit of water on, and go a bit slower as well. So I'll get right into the base, get all that clear, get above my thumb tip. Like so. How are we doing? Alright, so I think we're alright for clay. Got enough clay in the right places. So, fourth lift. I'm not going to use the ribs yet, I'm going to do one more, but this time I'm going to start to go out a little bit. Try and get the last little bit of height. And even the wall thickness as best I can. So right at the bottom. Thumb tip in there, start to lift the clay up. This time I'm starting to work my way out to get that bucket shape. So I don't think we need to go any wider. How high is that? So the other one finished 9.5. So this is 10.5. So it's a centimetre taller. I think we need to go a little bit more. So another throw or another lift. Just to see if we can get it a little bit taller. So I don't need to go any wider. Like so. So what I will do, I'm going to measure how wide the bucket one is. 10 wide. Oh, it's just about there, nearly 10, nearly the same width, but it is now 1.5 centimetres taller. So now we're just going to straighten this off a bit, and that should just tilt the top out just a touch to get our 10 centimetre width. Get rid of all the water first so we can see what's going on. Like that. Right, so we're going to do it the other way around. I'm going to do my foot first this time so I don't lose it. So foot trimming tool first. Sorry about the scrapey noise. I'm going to push that in to get our profile first, like so, and then we use the plastic rib. So we're going to dig in just above where we went with the foot trimming tool, about there. And then I'm aiming to push that out just a little bit more. Like so. I think that's worked fairly well. Right, round our top off with our chamois. And it doesn't look too straight in the middle. So I'm going to use my rib as a guide, just rest it on the surface, and it's just that bit there. Things are sticking to the clay. Have a look, that looks okay to me. I mean, there will be a little bit of trimming involved in these, just to fine tune them. That's all that bit done. Now I want to get rid of that excess clay there. So it doesn't get in the way when we lift it off. And then, last run with our little wooden stick. Which is just collecting the water, especially off that lower half where we're going to put our hands. So even though we've scraped it with the plastic rib, the wooden rib still picks up a lot of that extra, which is why plastic's not always the best way to go. Right, that's ready to lift off, so get our wire Run that underneath, stop our wheel. See, I'll bring the board back over and we'll have a look at our three. Hands are dry. Like that, bring our board back over to have a final look. So there's our three shapes. So they're going to get handles on in the next video, hopefully, and then a little extra flourish. We've got a sprig to go on these ones, but I'm not going to say anything about that yet. We'll do the trimming and handles video first. So, like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube stuff. See you in another video, hopefully not too far away. Clears the way. Bye for now.